Ada is a qualified social worker and holds master's degree in community management. She has over 30 years of experience in aged care management and has proven track record in service planning and development. Ada serves as the CEO of the Australian Nursing Home Foundation, and the company's exponential growth over the past decade is attributed to her vision and innovative mindset, which has resulted in cutting-edge outcomes for culturally competent aged care services in Sydney. And she's going to talk about today's topic, which is social isolation. So welcome, Ada.
Today, I'd like to share my experience in about how we overcome social isolation among seniors in culturally diverse community. We are a not-for-profit organization since 1980s. And we have running seniors housing. We run nursing home, seniors wellness center, and also home care packages and CHSP services. We also run a service called Speak Your Language. It's a call monitoring service, a little bit like Vital Call, that can support people 24 hours, 7 days. And first, I'd like to share with you some demographic background, which set the scenes why we identify the social isolation for older people from diverse background. From the latest report from the Australian Institute of Health and Welfare, there are, in 2022, there will be about 37% of people are born overseas. And then people speak other language than English, there's 18%. And people who do not speak English well is about 6%. And why Chinese is why we use it as a case study is because Chinese is one of the largest cult group and 5.5%. The second one, I would like to talk to you about, everybody know you working in with people from diverse background, you know, their background and the lived experiences really shape many factors that can affect to the access and the use of aged care services. Language as common, their language skills, the literacy of English as well as their own mother tongue is the same important. Aging, disability, the religious background, the ethnicity, the migration experience, the settlement. And that's why sometimes, because of this, sometimes they also have how people communicate with them is like stereotyping, prejudice. Some people may even go through trauma experience and racism or discrimination, war and persecution throughout the whole migration experience. Some people may come here because they're refugees. They may be experiencing some cultural conflict, the childhood experience, the relationship before migration and after migration, the familial involvement, the cultural belief, norms, values, roles. All these really shaping how an individual, whether they like to access support services or aged care. To cut it into much detail, I'd like to share with you is about most of the challenges faced by older people from diverse background. Whenever older people, they may feel foreign in an environment outside of their home. It is very interesting. In a normal situation, people grow up in Australia, they never have that feeling, their environment is where they have their upbringing. But for older migrants, it's different. And because they face a lot of challenges is because the lack of the awareness and the knowledge about the available services. Their attitude towards family and caregiving is different. A lot of people in Australia, they grow up, they think HA is normal. Everybody, when they're getting old, they should access. But for them, it's different because they think care should be in the home, not necessarily by another people that they don't know. The communication barrier in English is also one of the challenges, the biggest challenges. Sometimes when older people, they experience cognitive impairment and dementia, and they may speak good language, good English when they're younger, but they may lose the acquired English literacy. And also the difficulty in expressing their needs in English. They can speak very well in their own language, but even they may be able to speak English to express them in the emotional terms is challenging. Some post-traumatic stress disorder or other traumas during the migration experience can also impacting on them too. The feeling of foreign feeling, and also that feeling of exclusion in the society. It's only those people, they go through the experience, the migration experience, they can share. And also sometimes it's the gender preferences and roles expectation in different culture also will be one of the factors that are affecting older people whether they choose to access services. And also the concern about privacy. Some people really want to keep things to themselves. That's why it will need to, sometimes they will mistrust of authority, even their doctors or people they want to provide care to them, aged care workers. They find it very difficult. And in some culture, they think they're very emphasized on family care. They will find it is a taboo or is a resistance to place their loved one into residential care. Sometimes there may be difficulty associated with caring for family at home. They maybe have even they're old, maybe they have the mother-in-law they still have to look after when they're in 60s or when they're in 70s. Some people live longer now. The burden of care on old women, people from culturally and linguistically diverse society, female take up a more caring role, and that's why when the person that is an older woman, they suffer from dementia, the burden of the husband may be different. We may not even be able to interpret the challenges that they're going through. They also have extra burden on informal carers. When the family member have dementia, cognitive impairment, or depression, I got some experiences, even the grandchildren, they find it very hard for 3 generations living in the same household to caring for someone with dementia. There's a lot of challenges that experienced by people living in a culturally diverse background, particularly seniors. They don't know the service, where to find help. That feeling of loneliness, isolation is always experienced a lot of cold carer. By research, by our lived experience, we realize that digital literacy is also a challenge. Nowadays, even when you want to refer people to my aged care, they expect everybody will be good in literacy, digital literacy. But the challenge for a lot of cold, diverse older people, seniors, is find it very challenging. And that the last bit is about, the communication with individual in the home country. Even they migrated physically in Australia for 20 years or 30 years, but the heart is where the country is. There's a lot of communication, and the discrepancy about the understanding of the mother tongue country and the country that they're living in is a little bit different. And also, some people even have to return back to the home country to take care of the others. For example, if the daughter-in-law gives birth, some seniors have to travel all the way, taking up a grandparenting role. And also access to interpreters and translator is always a challenge. And everybody will expect, you can bring your daughter or your son along or your daughter-in-law to do some translation when they see doctors that they cannot speak good English. In actual fact, they don't even know the rights to access accredited interpreter when they have a health episode or they were needing to consult doctors or in the hospital. The importance of maintaining cultural identity is so crucial in some of the older people's mind. They think that I migrated here, but I still want to keep my cultural identity. That's why it's also make them a barrier for them to open up themselves to receive the new sort of cultural values and new way of living, like accepting using a foreign person to go into the home to look after them is a challenge. Intergeneration cultural change, when they're living into the same household with the next generation, the younger generation, they have different cultural interpretation. This is a challenge for them. The lack of familial support. Some, older couples, when they have the son and, the next generation, they may be, because of work or because of family decision, they live overseas, no longer in Australia. This is the kind of challenges faced by a lot of older people, because now it's a global world. A lot of people will work overseas, even they migrated here. And then a lot of challenges is really a lot of isolation, and people find that fewer peers they can establish in older age. So I would like to share the focus of today is about talking about ACVVS. Is an acronym for Aged Care Volunteer Visitor Schemes. This scheme is not new at all, but they just recently rebranded and called ACVVS. It was called the oldest time. I was old enough to experience all these changes. The beginning part of this program is called Friends for Older People, it was back into the 1990s, when the government wrote its funding. It's mainly to visiting older people living in nursing home. And then later on, they called the CVS, Community Visitor Scheme. And in July 2023, last year, government to choose to change the name to Aged Care Volunteer Visitor Schemes. This is a program that has been evolving, and the government is also changing the funding criteria from based on just people living in nursing home. They extended to home care, but now they're very good. They even additional cater for people receiving CHSP service, which mean come over home support services. And also those individuals no longer receiving government subsidized aged care, they are also eligible. So this is a big change. And this is a leaflet that developed by our company. We are providing Chinese and Vietnamese specific ACVVS that is catered for different region in Sydney, most of the metropolitan Sydney. Volunteer is an integral part of our company, Australian Nursing Home Foundation, because volunteer is providing continuous companionship and support for fellow older people, including those that may have chronic illness and dementia. Either they're living in the residential care in nursing home, retirement village, or they're living at their own home. Either they are receiving support services from home care, CHSP, or they don't have services. If they're being assessed suitable, we will look after them, but we may not use the ACVS funding. We use our own volunteer to support them. This is very important. Is we found that this program, volunteer, is a very good, what I say is a big power, a powerhouse to support us to raise the awareness of healthy aging among isolated Chinese older people. And also, this is like a caregiver resource network. Because volunteer, they got a lot of network with their own friends and other social groups. They're very caring experience. They help to bring in all this good experience to us. And ANH have always provided training to volunteer so that they can be confidently and ethically perform CVS services. And we also have to have a very well-defined volunteer position, job description, comprehensive education on dementia, chronic illness, and first aid to make sure they're well equipped to deliver the care. Our volunteer coordinator always is there, we call the mother hand for the volunteers. They oversees the recruitment, quality assurance, and matching our volunteer to make sure they meet our individual needs. There will be a lot of things like intergeneration matching to make sure the volunteers speak the language, understand the background. And it will be the ideal if we can even meet and match the same city and the village of that volunteer with the older people they visit. Definitely, personality and hobby matching is very important. And we do a lot of things. Volunteer coordinator continue to support them by email, phone, email, supporting our volunteers. And they always do meeting with them, make sure that they continue to upkeep with the knowledge, and they are knowledgeable to share the knowledge with the older people they visit. And we have cloud-based continuous learning management system to support them. We also recognize volunteer through recognition night. Every year we run the recognition night to our knowledge volunteers. In terms of what work volunteers do, many things you can imagine. They can share hobbies, they can sharing with activities. We can do a lot of gentle exercise, motivate them to maintain their wellness and independence, and sharing hobbies, doing interests, like even playing musical instrument with them, doing gardening, arts and crafts. There are other things that you can imagine, even in doing household goods, like, for example, helping them to grooming if they need to attend a party, and helping them even doing some simple clothes alteration, because some older people living alone, they don't know how to do things on their own, and they cannot rely on themselves anymore. For us, importance is quality assurance. This is the most important issue. Make sure volunteer being trained, they will be treated like the staff. They need to let us know about risk, anything about any critical issue, they can report to us timely. We can have a cloud-based risk management system that volunteer can inform us any issues of concern. The most important is we care for them. We have a wellness for all seasons program to make sure our volunteers are keeping their physical well-being and also the psychosocial well-being. And we also, the most important is training our volunteer to have the boundary management, make sure they manage the relationship with the older people they care for. And this is what I like to share with everybody. Thank you.
Dr. Medha is the manager of community strengthening at Australian Multicultural Community Services, and she is a current board member of the Ethnic Communities Council of Victoria, or ECCV, and serves as the chair of the ECCV's Positive Aging and Aged Care Policy Advisory Committee. Dr. Medha is committed to ensuring equality of opportunity for all Australians, including newly emerging communities.
Australian Multicultural Community Services is a community-based organization over 40 years of experience in providing culturally tailored services for multicultural communities. We are providing aged care support services and other community care services, including home care, CHSP, respite, social support groups, and all other community services. This Digital Piazza project is a special initiative we developed during the pandemic time, that COVID-19, and all seniors were one of the most isolated and vulnerable community group or the cohort at that time, because they were isolated due to lack of community support, and because they separated from their families, and they were not able to obtain essential services, and lack of trusted information, and also they were not able to participate in community or social activities, and also they face barriers to access knowledge or education programs. All of these challenges resulted in social isolation and lack of support. At that time, we had been delivering more than 104 social physical activity programs across Victoria for over 2,500 called seniors. That the challenge was for us to how we can continue these activities and how we can support these called seniors to be connected, healthy, and active during that pandemic time. So we created the Digital Piazza project, and we thought that we will support these seniors to get back to the activities and eliminate that social isolation. So we asked people before we started the project, we consulted the called seniors and especially leaders, and we asked them why you can't access or digital technology, or why you can't link with the online activities and information. They came up with different ideas. That the first one was the affordability. They mentioned that they can't afford the internet or the devices, and they didn't have enough devices or infrastructure, that means that internet. And also their digital ability was very low, and it's 0 to very less. And also they were facing the challenges of language challenges were one of the main reason. And not only the language barrier, some of the called seniors, even they were not able to read and write in their own language. So it should be very difficult to teach them how to use their digital devices when they can't read and write in their own language. And also they got a really negative attitude towards learning new technology, because they perceived it as this is not for us. We are too old to learn this digital literacy or technology, and this is for younger generation. And they were very negative about that. Some of the people from some of the cultural background, not everyone. And Also, they mentioned that they can't get the support from their family, especially from grandchildren and even from their children. It is very hard to get the support. And also that the frustration because of that with the aging, they face challenges like cognitive challenges. They can't remember things, keep forgetting. Today we can teach something and next day they keep forgetting about what to do, and that brought them frustration and lack of motivation and confidence to use devices. And also they were very worried about being safe online. When we developed that digital Piazza program to support called seniors, we focus on three aspects. The first one is social and cultural aspect, that is to increase their connection with the community through social media, Skype or WhatsApp, and also connect them with their families, friends, and community members, as well as increase their participation in activities, online activities. And the next thing is the health aspect, give them access to online mental and physical health services. And the other thing is the economic aspect, that if they were doing economic activities, income activities, give them back the access. And all these aspects we thought that contribute to reduce their social isolation. And then we thought that how we can develop the framework, how we can support, what are the key components or key elements that we need to focus. The first thing is that the access and security. The second thing as we realized that motivation and collaboration. And the third one is skill development. Under the first criteria that we provided them internet and the devices. And also we trained them how to be protective of that cyber and access security, because we provided them enough software like to prevent from potential scams and attacks. And also the second thing is how we can motivate them to engage in training and link them with online activities, because there should be a mechanism to get their attention. So we thought that we will explain them about the benefit of having online engagement. And when they see the benefit, there will be a motivation to learn new technology and link with online activities. And also we develop a co-design workshops series, and not only us, they can join with us to develop this project. We ask them, how do you need the support, the way they like to approach the support or the trainer, and which environment and which language. We ask them. Then they automatically, they were keen to participate in the project. And also then we started to train people. Like first we approach our volunteers, we train them as digital mentors, and then we approach young students, young people, grandchildren, and we train them to be digital buddies. And then we train our support workers to support clients. And also, I told you that we had been delivering the physical social activity programs. With us, there were more than 25 instructors, like dancing instructors, sports instructors, personal trainers. We trained them, and we asked them to support their participants to get online and do engage in activities. After we train digital mentors, we link them with matched seniors. We match the cultural backgrounds. We link them with community groups. Then digital mentors supported the whole community group to be able to meet their regular face-to-face one as a basis of online, because then we thought that they will not miss their regular meetings, community group meetings. Then we link digital buddies with their grandparents, and also we encourage them to support their neighbors. And also, not only that, the training, we understood that it is really important to organize or facilitate online activities. So we designed that social friendship cafes, and through the social friendship cafes every day regularly we facilitate a different kind of online groups like art and craft cafes, knitting cafes, book reading, cooking, and online dancing, tai chi, yoga. So during the pandemic, we had been delivering like more than 25 daily sessions, over 750 called seniors. Our project contributed to improve overall health and well-being of called seniors during the pandemic, as well as still we are delivering this project. And we asked that how that the support, for which activities they would like to get the support, concern that being safe online. That is their first concern, because they were very scared of being like they thought that a third party can get access to their personal information, and until they get all the information about the safety, they didn't get to the training or to touch the online activities. And the second thing is use Facebook and other social media to get connected with their families, friends overseas, and get the information about the family and sharing of photos and things. And the third thing is access to health services. That's mental health and physical health services and health information. And also the other thing, that access to social and physical activities. They were very happy because they were able to engage in a lot of a range of social and physical activities. Then the shopping and banking and other online services like how to organize holiday or something like that, and the access to MyGo and sharing photos with family and much more there, and sending emails, and also access to My Age Care. This is the last thing, because although we trained them to use that, because of the complexity there, they were not, it's hard. It was hard for them. And this is the impact we created. The outer circle explain the outcomes we achieved, and the inner circle explain the impact we created. The main thing is the independence at home and social resilience. Because of the connections they develop, greater social resilience were there, and digitally included, and improved mental and physical health, and financial security and empowerment, improved civic participation. They participated in not only social activities, in decision making also, and intercultural and intergenerational connectedness. Because of the Buddies program and mentors program that we developed, that intercultural and intergenerational connected. Our mentors, that called mentors, they were also like seniors. Most of them were seniors. So we created a WhatsApp group for them. Then through this WhatsApp social platform, online social platform, they were able to connect each other, and they were sharing their information, their concerns, their worries and everything, and learn each other. And also when we connected digital mentors with the seniors, they connected, and also they developed long-lasting relationships, because when they have common interest and something common to share, they easily developed relationships. And also that grandparents and grandchildren connected with each other. So and also they were able to attend a lot of activities, online activities. They that social. They didn't want to struggle with isolation, because something there they were able to connect and keep them active. And we train more than 350 digital mentors and 150 digital buddies, and more than 1,500 seniors we trained, and paired over 150 digital mentors and seniors. These are our digital mentors from different languages, and we posted these things, and people can ask that I need Lakshmi, or I need Lee, or I need according to their preferences. And Lee is one of our mentors, and he he developed a group of people and he initiated a community group for himself. Like he has now 50 community members. He is the leader of that group. And these are the experience that they shared, and they were so happy. And the lessons learned that we need to think about that. We need to ask people what's their preferences and their individual goals, why they need to learn the technology, and they need to come up with ideas that this is why I need to learn this. That is the motivation coming out. And otherwise it's not happening and it's not ongoing. And also peer support. And when we trained seniors, they always mention that they like to support other community members. We didn't want to force them or ask them or request them. It's eventually came from them. And also the rest of the community members also were happy to get the support from peer community members rather than getting someone strange to them. And continuous engagement in online activities through our social friendship cafes, they were able to develop their digital skills, and it's really tech-savvy, created tech-savvy seniors. And they were, because of that online activities and accessing services, their knowledge about the available services and benefit of having improving health and well-being, they realized. And they gave them an insight, seniors way to improve their social connectedness and health and well-being, both physical and mental health aspects. We have a lot more to tell, but because of the time limitation, this is all I can share. Thank you so much for listening.
Wanted to ask to you, Ada, was you were talking about the matching, the cultural matching, and why this is so important. Can you maybe explain a little bit why this is so important and what you do if you can't do the cultural matching?
A lot of people usually put culturally and increasingly diverse people as a group. In actual fact, there is diversity within diversity. The matching is so important. Even I'm talking about Chinese. Okay, can be Chinese from Hong Kong, from Taiwan, from Singapore, Malaysia, and from mainland China. They are all different parts, the rural or the regional. So this is so important if you can find someone that can share a common understanding, even though we may not be able to find exactly people come from the same province or the same country of birth, but we will support the volunteer to tell them, this particular kind, our volunteer coordinator do a lot of good job, is preparing some background information to brief the volunteer, although you speak the same language, but this older person have something they like and dislike or something very special when they engaging. We will do sort of like a visit with the seniors. We need to know exactly what the person like. We may be able to find something like a common hobbies or common interests that they can share, even they may not 100% share the same background. I think the birthplace, they may be, for example, if I come from the rural area, as an older people, you may not be able to find someone, but we understand that we support the volunteer. So the volunteer will well prepare to have not a stereotype of the culture. So she is just an ordinary Chinese older people. I think that is so important. I think we treat everybody as an individual, not label the person because of the background or because of the culture. It's a lot of exploration. We also have to equip the volunteer about the icebreaking skills, how to start a conversation, how to engage interest. And sometimes we even put into a lot of concept about re-enablement and goal setting. We always find that older people will say, I'm too old, I have no hope, I'm just waiting to die. But the whole process of volunteer visiting scheme is about motivating the older people to find interest around them and setting some goals. For example, I'm not really interested in go out. Then they will say, how about we do shopping once a fortnight? Then later on we say, how about we do some shopping once a week? Try to encourage the person to go out, meeting with friends, and refer them to Seniors Wellness Center.
Thank you, Ada. We have another question that's actually coming in the chat box, which I also had as a question. That is to both of you, Medha and Ada. So start with you, Ada. Is there any advice you can provide how to recruit volunteers?
We can use formal channels like we always write story in newspaper, the press, the media. We always doing like good story to tell. We sometimes ask our volunteer to share story, and we put into the community notices, under the media, the ethnic print. And also we have radio program. We do radio. We encourage SBS or even some of the ethnic radio to do a profile for us, because this is something so beautiful. The media always support us to reaching out to older people from diverse background. The other thing is I found that like spreading by the word of mouth is so important. Once you build your volunteer, you have to continue providing training to them. So this volunteer feel that they got a mission and passion to share the joy of volunteering and also to bring the friends and the networks. Imagine one volunteer, they bring 10 people. That's how you're reaching out. The other thing is we manage the burns out of volunteer. If you identify some volunteer have been non-serving, you have to help the person to set goals. Identify some skills gap. If the person need to do learning, we always encourage them. If we find out some good community education program, some training, we will, bring the volunteer in. And we treat them like staff. Whenever we have events, we bring them along. When our nursing homes celebrate cultural activity, we bring the volunteer in because they're serving the residents there, and they should come and enjoy a great day. They feel part of the family. And that kind of joy, they're happy to share with the friends. Yeah. And as so community board, always we're reaching out to church groups, information session, and any ANHF promotion in community events. There will be always a volunteer flyers there and encouraging people to join us. I also want to add one more point is to know the TAFE and also those Cert 3, Cert 4 courses. Usually they invite our HR managers to do presentation about attracting new bloods to join the aged care. We also at the same time say, if you're still not confident enough, welcome to join the volunteer services. And there's a lot of students, they're happy to, because they feel this is the area I like to do aged care, but I'm not confident enough whether this is the right place. And they usually come and do the volunteer, and they serve long. Even they have employment, they still be volunteer. I do have a lot of staff, they are volunteer as well.
And also like new migrants and international students, they always come as it's really good for their CV and also as a volunteer experience into.
Another question I had was, Medha, you were saying in your presentation that you do training to the volunteers, to the staff, and also the clients. So I was wondering, because it's a digital literacy project, in which way did you had to train the volunteers and the staff?
How to support a client or a senior person. We train them we gave them the training to how to use digital technology effectively and efficiently. And on top of that, we train how to be a mentor, like leadership training and that how to deal with a senior person and how to tolerate and how can be patient and understand the ageism and related challenges. And so the training, it's kind of intensive training for our client, volunteers and staff members.
How does your program foster in an intergenerational understanding?
The intergeneration is very interesting. I do have volunteer that the grandmother doing volunteer together with the granddaughter and serving in the same seniors wellness center. This is a lovely story. Once we have this, we write stories onto newspaper. And then there's a lot of people come to try to, encouraging the younger generation to come. The intergeneration promotion is always you have to using storylines, because I found that people will say volunteer is something very bland to them. They don't know what is it all about. If you have people talk about their experience, the lived experience and being volunteer, and also the beauty of it is how you value add it. For the younger generation, why they're interested? Because they think if I have no working experience, I'm being a volunteer. They are exploring health and aged care sector. this is a very good entry point for them to strengthen their communication skill, people skill, and also develop their interests. And they realize that only when they step into aged care, they realize that it is a profession. There's a lot of issues of concern. There's a just very beautiful career path for them. This is very interesting. If you projected that, that's why we do a promotion at the TAFE and on the radio when we talk about targeting the younger people. In Expo, we always have a store that talking about this is for the younger carers. People come and then we share with them what are the beauty of that.
For us, it was challenging because when we asked younger people to come for sessions, that they were telling it's challenging and they can't. They are easily forgetting things, and next day we need to explain the same thing again and again, and they are very angry. And we ask questions that there are challenges of supporting grandparent, and they came up with a lot of ideas and there are a lot of reasons, and we didn't teach them how to use the digital technology because they already tech savvy. Instead of that, we focus on developing their leadership and how about the ageism and challenges, and we made them understanding about that everyone one day faced to this problem, and how to work with seniors with empathy, and the rewards they can get by helping your grandparent, and so made them that we increased their awareness about the ageism and how important supporting their grandparents to be connected, healthy and active.
If there's any comment you have about this webinar, any final feedback or anything that you would like to let us know, feel free to reach out to us at info@culturediversity.com.au. And I really thank you for your participation today. And I hope we can see each other in the near future. Thank you.